You're welcome to State of Affairs.
Thank you.
Okay, how are you finding your new office?
Well, 2 words: challenging, exciting.
Okay, let's look at the challenging bit. What is making it challenging?
Well, the challenging part of it is that it is basically the embodiment of the president's vision for transforming our country.
Right.
Because the president, in campaigning to be elected, said that he wanted to do 2 things. 1, create a society of opportunity for everybody, and then 2, to create a society of inclusion where nobody is left out. So all these programs that you see, free SHS and so on, where we say no child should be left behind, the whole vision of the president is that every Ghanaian born everywhere has to have the same opportunity for growth and development like any other person born everywhere else. Now we know that inner city and Zongo communities are places where there is social exclusion. Okay, the many people in these communities are people whose educational levels are low, who, even if they have businesses, are unable to access capital for the development of their businesses, place where we have sanitation challenges, where we have issues of security, and so on. And you can imagine that there are 1,080 Zongo communities alone. I'm not counting inner cities yet. Just Zongo communities alone. 1,080.
Okay.
Alone. So not counting inner cities. So you can imagine the kind of job that I have to do. You know, whatever you have to do to ensure that people in these communities are socially included, that their standards of living improve, their environment improves. So that's the challenging because it's difficult. You are doing it with not a mounting of resources. And so you would have to rack your brain to determine where this resource should go and so on. So that's the challenging part of it.
And the exciting part?
The exciting part of it is that the majority of the inhabitants of Zongo communities are Muslims. Okay, and so as an Islamic scholar myself, I have opportunity on a daily basis to exercise my talent, to engage my store of Islamic knowledge in dealing with these people. And for I am a practicing Muslim also, and therefore I also believe that in doing this job, I'm also fulfilling my duty to God, because in other words, I'm serving my fellow Muslims. And of course, there's a saying by the Prophet that he who relieves his fellow Muslim of difficulty on earth, Allah will relieve his difficulty on the day of judgment. So even though I'm doing my duty to nation, I also find fulfillment in the sense that I'm also fulfilling a spiritual duty. So that's the exciting part of it for me.
Okay, so you were very happy when you were moved here?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely excited. Because like I said, because now I have an opportunity to serve my people. And like I said, because it is at the heart of the program, the president's vision, I know that if I succeed here, and the history of the president's success was to be written in the future, I will be a part of that history.
Okay, I remember when the notice of the reshuffle came, and I saw some comments, 3 journalists and 4 other people, random people on Twitter, and there was a discussion about the ministry and you being moved here, and one of them said, finally, someone who understands the Zongos is in charge of the ministry. So does that tell you that people are very expectant of what you will be doing in this office?
Highly. Everywhere that I have gone, especially in the Zongo communities, this is the point they have raised, that, oh, you are one of us, you understand our language. You know, when I go to the communities and then I quote the Quran, and so on and so forth, they are excited. So, oh, okay, he's one of us, he understands us. And, you know, there's a certain excitement and satisfaction that comes to Muslims if you go to them and you are constantly referring to their scripture and so on. So they are really expectant that I should be able to help them to get the kind of transformation that they desire.
Okay, but we know that, of course, this is everywhere in the world, that countries have limited resources. And looking at the number of people you are going to be working for, how do you intend to succeed?
You remember I told you that there are 2 words that describe what I do here, challenging and exciting. That's the challenge. The challenge is resources. There is almost all the inner city and Zongo communities have challenges of education, you know, school blocks. Every day I get requests from Ahamasu Islamic Primary School or JHS. This is in the Volta region. I got Osman bin Affan just this morning in a village in the western region, or let me say a town in the western region called Kanguli. They say, oh, this is Osman bin Affan secondary school. We need you to help us with desks and chairs. And Ahamasu and the Ghana Muslim Mission School in Choko. Everywhere else, there is a challenge of you know, adequate classrooms for our people to sit in, because the president has also said that it is through education that he intends for us to transform our country. It becomes critical that our educational infrastructure is up to scratch. And so because of that huge challenge, it is difficult for me, I mean, considering the amount of resources that we have, to be able to meet everybody's challenge. But we want to be sure that at the end of the day, we have an even spread of the resources, so that if we have 10 regions, in every region, we can point to places where we have done an intervention. Ultimately, the purpose is to get the Zongo Development Fund up and running. When that happens, we as a ministry recoil back into our role as policy makers and supervisors only. The Zongo Development Fund has a chief executive and 2 deputy chief executives. It has a board and a chairman. So they will be responsible for doing the real execution and developmental work in the communities. And my role as minister would only be to provide them policy guidance for doing so.
At what stage is it now, the fund?
Where we are now, we are about to take off. I am hoping that maximum in 2 months, the fund secretariat will be up and running. And then all these requests that I am getting from across the nation, I can take it to them, and then they will do the real execution.
There's something that has really bothered me for a long time, especially when I have an opportunity to visit Zongo for either personal reasons or official reasons, is the amount of neglect. You know, the level of neglect is unbelievable. And I mean, take away the posh communities in Accra. There are communities which are not exactly labeled as Zongo, but they have certain amount of resources available to them. There are schools, there are clinics, but you go to our Zongos and you realize that things are completely different. And the people there will tell you that nobody cares about us. And it's been like that for a long, long time. Fortunately, you're a Muslim. What exactly is it? Why are we always focusing more on other communities and not the Zongos?
Well, part of it, I guess that, you know, the whole business of Zongo, actually, the word Zongo, okay, is a corruption of the original Hausa word Zango. Okay. So Zango in Hausa means a temporal abode.
Okay.
Are you following me?
Yes.
So many of the migrant communities in those days, the pre-independence days, that came to settle in these places, envisaged them as temporal abodes.
Right.
So they came to do business, to do trading, to buy, perhaps to sell cattle and buy something else and go back and etc. So the whole idea was that they were temporal abodes. And so to the extent that they were not permanent places of residence, my guess would be that, you know, previous governments and so on, at least up to the immediate post-independence era, didn't think that perhaps we should put money in these places to make them better habitable, because after all, the people are going back. It's a Zango, it's a temporal abode. So I'm sure the notion of temporality, you know, sort of ate away the kind of capital that they would have been able to leverage, you know, in order to ensure that those communities are well developed. But we've since gone past the Zango era,
right,
properly so called, because there are now generations and generations of people who have lived there. I mean, some people, their great grandfathers were the ones that migrated to those areas. So everybody is now as Ghanaian in these places as everybody else. So I guess that it is just time that one president dreamt about it and said, look, we need to make an intervention that will, if you want, even out, you know, the developmental imbalance between the hitherto considered temporal abode and our permanent residents. So because now they have become permanent, they are no longer, as I said, so to speak, Zangos. And to that extent, that is the reason the president thinks that this is the time for us to do that developmental intervention to bring them up to scratch.
Okay. Just when I was walking in, I was on the phone with a friend who is a CEO of a company, and I was telling him that I had an interview with you to discuss Zongo development. And the first question I asked was, is this something your company would like to partner the ministry with to develop any of those Zongos? And his initial comment was shocking that, these people can be very violent. I mean, that's a tag we've associated with Zongos for so long, and I was disappointed because I go to the Zongos a lot and I don't see violence. I love those people, and I don't understand why violence is associated with the Zongos. Is it one of the difficulties for you, this tag?
Well, it is. You know, the whole business, what you talked about when I was made minister here, other people said, oh, he's been demoted. Okay, now what will make somebody reason that being moved from one ministry to another? Because if I was made minister for lands, nobody would have said I was demoted. If I was made minister for anything else, for example, this ministry, this ministry's budget in a year is perhaps 3-4 times the budget at the Ministry of Information.
Right.
But yet still, people say that you are being demoted.
Because it's Zongo.
Exactly. Because it is Zongo, or it is associated, the ministry is associated with Zongo, and therefore there are a lot of negativities that are associated with the terminology Zango. And one of it, to confess, is the issue of violence, the people don't understand things, and etc., etc. I would not be able to tell you what are the antecedents for why that designation has come about.
Right.
But of course, since they say that there is no smoke without fire, I believe that there has been isolated incidents of rioting and disagreements in Zongo communities over in the past. You know, that has resulted in that tag. But part of it also will be the same social exclusion that we are talking about. Because really and truly, people who are empowered and people who are trained and earning a livelihood and going about their lives on a daily basis busy, you are not going to be able to come and mobilize them for violent purposes.
Absolutely.
So if it is the case that indeed we can find scores of unemployed and idle youth in Zongo communities that are always employed for violent purposes, then it also tells the failure of our nation state, you know, to take care of its own and create a society of inclusion. So to the fellow that said that to you, what I will say to him is that that was in the past. Right now, we are trying to change the narrative. And indeed, some of that narrative has changed, because there are many young people that I have met since I came here who are, there's this young man called, I think he's called Mahmoud Jaja in Nima, who is helping us in collaboration with this ministry, training young people in the Zongo communities in computer coding.
Right, right.
Are you following me? That's a Zongo boy with such brilliant talent and ideas, and he's ready to put that talent and that sacrifice at the disposal of his colleagues, you know, to train them in these ways. And we want to replicate this training across as many Zongo communities as is possible. There is another brilliant doctor who has also come who has a computer company called Cisco Systems, who says he also wants to help in the same computer coding program. So there are many young people who have come up. There are now mentorship programs in our various community, most Zongo community. We're trying to bring all those mentorship programs under one umbrella, where young people like myself who have done well, who were born in the Zongo, who have done well for themselves in life, become mentors for upcoming young people in the Zongo communities. So a lot is going on now that I believe that if we stay consistent on this path, in about 10 years maximum, we should be able to erase that perception.
All right, we are talking to the Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development, and that's Dr. Mustafa Hamid. We're taking a break. The show is brought to you by MTN. The conversation continues right after.
K20, in the bar, or in the party. K20, in the funeral or any other gathering. The burning sensation, I touch them up. K20 whiskey, we track a crowd who will do my K20 whiskey. What I started to Batulu, where K20 whiskey, K20 whiskey. Hey, yeah, K20. A born there for 4. There's my papa and no. Opa makes it, Opa no mess anything they go, yeah. K20, in the bar, or in the party. K20, in the funeral or any other gathering.
K20 whiskey, the burning sensation at a chamape. No more yansem, one ton more biarundi in Fidwa watche, on your map painful.
In this part of the world, we are up long before the sun. Playing our part to make our world, our connections, and relationships a lot more brighter. They say agrobeswa, ne frianopa. Start your day bright with MTN Kokroko. For only 1 Ghana cedi, you can enjoy 400 megabytes of data and 30 minutes of free MTN to MTN calls every day from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. everywhere you go. Dial *138# to buy the MTN Kokroko bundle now.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
And Sessa Pinfo num, a war drinking spots beer.
And don't go bitters, a demufua.
Tap from my head to my toe. Yeah. The moment I step in the street, everybody for no. Look sharp, yeah. See the swagger for show. Look sharp. My look, can you see? Say maybe so out of world.
Feco Spray Starch makes ironing easier and faster. There's no clogging, and it protects your fabric from stains. Fresh smell, big can, and you go use them, sir. See the difference. Feco Spray Starch. Look sharp.
In this part of the world, we are up long before the sun. Playing our part to make our world, our connections, and relationships a lot more brighter. They say agrobeswa, ne frianopa. Start your day bright with MTN Kokroko. For only 1 Ghana cedi, you can enjoy 400 megabytes of data and 30 minutes of free MTN to MTN calls every day from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. everywhere you go. Dial *138# to buy the MTN Kokroko bundle now.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back to State of Affairs, brought to you by MTN Everywhere You Go. We are talking to Dr. Mustafa Hamid, the Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development. Welcome back to the show. All right, so we left the conversation off at you trying to get people to do a lot of mentoring. And it just reminded me of one of the episodes we did in Nima for Tramadol. And we went with a medical doctor to educate the young men and women about the repercussions of abusing tramadol. And the boys were shocked to know that a medical doctor was actually born in Nima. And he's moved out just because he went to medical school and had relocated. And the call was simple, that you guys should come back and let the young people know that you came from Nima and you're a doctor. So it is possible for people to come out of Zongo and become doctors and lawyers and what have you. Is this what is driving your mentorship program? Is this an example of...
Absolutely, absolutely, without doubt. There is a young man also called Mustafa Hamid.
Ah, namesake.
Yes, who is on Facebook. By the way, maybe let me take opportunity of your medium to get people to get this distinction. He spells his Hamid H-A-M-E-E-D.
Okay.
So, yeah, so if you see all these write-ups on WhatsApps and it's H-A-M-E-E-D, it's not me.
Yours is I.
Because sometimes he's very venomous.
Oh, really? And some people think it's you.
They attack me and they say, how can a minister say
like
this
that.
and that and that, and then they harass me. But it's not me.
Dear.
He's my very good friend too.
But he's Hamid.
Hamid, H-A-M-E-E-D, and I'm H-A-M-I-D. He was a lecturer at KNUST, just like myself. Now he's with the Petroleum Commission in Accra. He normally, when he writes things on Facebook, he writes at the end, Zongo Rising. He writes Zongo Rising. That sort of gave me the idea that, okay, you can go to you can be born in a Zongo community and rise. You know, so that triggered me to call him up. I called him up one day and I said, look, I like this, your Zongo Rising tag. And it gives me the idea that we need to initiate a properly organized mentorship program so that people like you, who are typical Zongo people, who have risen, you know, to become petroleum experts and lecturers and et cetera, to go back and mentor people. In 2004, when I was National Youth Organizer of the NPP, I went to the US on a study tour. And they have a national mentorship program called Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Right.
Okay, where, say, a Mustafa Hamid, I will be attached to 3 or 4 boys. They are my mentees, and I'm their mentor. And in the course of a week, you are supposed to meet with them at least once, talk to them about their marks at school, how they are doing at school, etc., and sort of, you know, continue, encourage them if they want to be like you, whatever your profession is. So normally footballers are attached to young boys who want to be footballers and rugby players and so on. So that is what triggered me to say that now that I'm here, and I know that many of our young people in Zongo communities need mentorship, I want to replicate this type of mentorship program in our Zongo community. So very soon you will find our advertisements in the papers inviting people who have products of Zongo, who have arisen to places to register with us so we can attach them.
Also, some of us cannot register.
Well, if you want to come by association, I'm sure we would create room.
I would love that. One.
Yes, I think that we would have to create associate membership.
Yeah, that would be great. Anyway, so I want us to talk about jobs, job creation, especially when your party campaigned on the back of creating opportunities for young people. And we know about the unemployment situation in a lot of these inner communities and the Zongos. What's your plan?
We just last week here in my office, I concluded talks with Access Bank.
Okay.
And Access Bank has agreed in principle to help us with money that we shall give to people in our Zongo communities who have products to market and sell. You know, the Zongo is the haven of, if you want, food and culinary creativity. Quite frankly, wache, sobolo, lamojin, tankwambia.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's
Kose.
And so on. All of these foods have become national, if you want.
You left that TZ.
Yeah, to Zafi. If you go to a place like Kumasi every Sunday, everybody is going to Deoro to go and eat food and all of that. Now, the women who do all these, who cook all these beautiful, tasty dishes for us to eat, are still very poor because there is no value added to the product. And for most of them, it's just some small amount of money that they need. So it is the reason we had these talks. In fact, to confess, my predecessor, the Honorable Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, started those discussions, which we concluded, we closed last week. So, well, credit to him. Whereby Access Bank would help us give some credit facility to these women and other small-scale entrepreneurs in our Zongo communities to be able to develop their businesses. And then we serve as the guarantee. The ministry serves as the guarantee with the bank, so, you know, for the bank to be able to recoup its money. So that is almost concluded. I have written to the Ministry of Finance to seek the clearance to be able to open an account at Access Bank that would allow us to operationalize this scheme. I'm hoping that by the close of this week, I can chase up and get the response from the Minister for Finance, and then we can move ahead.
Okay. You know, I'm listening to you and looking at your posture, and one thing is clear. Your passion when you talk about the Zongos and the inner city is completely different from what you exhibited when you were at the Information Ministry. Why? I mean, the levels to this are so high. Why?
You see, I've been here for only 2 months, and you can see that we virtually have covered a lot of grass.
Exactly.
In the 2 months. As I said, you know, it's always been my passion in life to serve people directly. And for me, there is no better opportunity for me in life to display that spirit of service and sacrifice than in this ministry.
Did you lobby for it?
I didn't lobby for it.
Are you sure?
No. Quite frankly, I was amazed that the president thought about it. I mean, maybe it was just some divine spark that he got that said he should bring me here. And I was telling the finance minister last week, I was having a conversation with him about matters concerning my ministry. And I said to him that, Mr. Finance Minister, if you help me to succeed, then our government has succeeded. Because if you are able to do a lot for inner cities and Zongo communities to create society of inclusion and so on. So I see this ministry, if you want, as the lead ministry in achieving the president's vision, what he wants to achieve for our country. But in a Ministry of Information, really and truly, it's a salad. It's a mix of everything. You are talking energy, lands, everything. You are speaking for everybody. So you are a jack of all trade and master of none. You know, and because it is government PR that you are doing, I mean, the odds are stacked against you. Exactly.
You become unpopular at some point.
Absolutely, because you would always say things that will upset somebody. So all the time, as you can see, I was being attacked and insulted.
Enemies within your government?
And so on. I am sure, but
it never came to your attention.
Absolutely, but of course you would know
Yeah.
that there are things that you would say that people would always be upset. And of course, the difference also is that you see right now you've asked me a series of questions. I'm saying this is what we've done, this is what we've done, this is what we've done. You know, public relations is not something that you can quantify.
Exactly.
you cannot quantify it, and a lot of the things that happen at the Ministry of Information are outside of your control. You know, if the government takes a decision that is unpopular, you can defend as much as you want, but whether your efforts really reverses the perception in the minds of the Ghanaian people or whatever, that's another matter. And so my brother Kojo, I wish him luck. I mean, I've always said that apart from the Minister for Finance's job, the most difficult job in government is Ministry of Information.
Did it
Finance
stress you
one,
out?
Information two.
Did it stress you out?
I was always stressed.
Yeah.
I was always stressed, and it's
not easy.
It's not an easy matter. But here, quite frankly, as you can see, I'm surprised you saw it.
It is so obvious.
People see me in town now, and it's like, you're looking good now.
The stress is off.
You don't look stressed. You are relaxed, and
You're
all
focusing
of that.
on something specific now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I get it. I really get it. So what would you
So
say?
even you used to bash me. You don't talk about
small,
yourself.
small. Small. You know what? Anytime I did that, people were surprised. Nana, but you know, but Mustafa is your darling. I said, yeah, of course. I mean, he's my sweetheart. But sometimes if you don't, they're like, oh, you are biased.
Oh, well.
So you have to do it. Anyway, so what would you say would be your legacy if you leave this place?
If I leave this place, I want to be able to look back and say that I helped this number of people, this number of young people, say 1,000 young people. I put 1,000 young people in school because I provided the opportunity for them to go to school, and they went. I want to be able to say that I transformed the livelihoods of this 1,000, 2,000 families through the credit that we gave them, that improved and expanded their businesses, that gave them an opportunity to take care of their children and their families. That will be my satisfaction.
All right. Let's take our very final break. We'll come back to wrap up with Dr. Mustafa Hamid.
Madam, I want Prosecure Herbal Tea. What is this? I said I want Prosecure Herbal Tea, not capsule.
This also good for urinary problem. Okay, please don't go. I have some.
Supplement to improve urine flow.
Do not let anyone deceive you. There's nothing like Prosecure capsule. It is Prosecure Herbal Tea. Just boil it and drink it. That's all.
Prostacure from Medimosis Prostate Center is a well-formulated food supplement acclaimed worldwide to improve urine flow. Now available at all pharmacies, filling station shops, and shopping centers nationwide. Contact the TEM, Accra, and Kumasi branches with the numbers on your screen. Visit our new ultra-modern diagnostic center at Twazako Valley, opposite the Westgate.
Prostacure food supplement improves urine flow in men.
Akoto loves his family. He works hard to take care of them. So Ifya, his young daughter, can become the doctor she's always dreamt of. And Akosia, his lovely wife, can open the nursery school she talks about all the time. He can see a happy, relaxed retirement in the years to come. But life can get in the way of our dreams. Unable to work, how do their dreams come to pass? Don't let life's tragedies get in the way of your family's dreams. Get a life insurance policy from Star Life today. Star Life, your solid partner for life.
K20, K20, inna the bar or inna the party. K20, K20, inna the funeral or any other gathering. The burning sensation, I touch them up. K20 whiskey, we track a cloud to the mind. K20 whiskey, what I started to battle, where K20 whiskey, K20 whiskey, hey yeah, K20. A boy there for fofo. Yes, my papa, and no. Opa makes it, Opa no mess anything they go, yeah. K20, K20, inna the bar, or inna the party. K20, inna the funeral or any other gathering.
K20 whiskey, the burning sensation at Techemape. No mwanyansem, wanton mo biarundi in fidwa wache, onye ma painful.
In real life, there's no buffering. So why accept it from your internet connection? Get connected and experience ultra-fast internet to the home from MTN. MTN Home, powered by MTN Fiber Broadband from the Internet Masters.
MTN, everywhere you go. Akoto loves his family. He works hard to take care of them. So Ifya, his young daughter, can become the doctor she's always dreamt of. And Akosia, his lovely wife, can open the nursery school she talks about all the time. He can see a happy, relaxed retirement in the years to come. But life can get in the way of our dreams. Unable to work, how do your dreams come to pass? Don't let life's tragedies get in the way of your family's dreams. Get a life insurance policy from Star Life today. Star Life, your solid partner for life.
We chabi ana maniaje, we chabi into maniaje rough. We don't be a mama umeka, nanya umeka ntima ya fine. I don't go for me go, ade fine. I don't go for me go, ade fine. For me kona maniaje rough, ade fine. Yeni abani nubino na ye, we chabi ana ya fine. Whenever you I don't go every day no ne manum. I don't go for me go.
Ento mani pa wonya mfie dumwoche ensesa apemfo num ewo drinking spots bia
I don't go bitters edemufua.
Welcome back to State of Affairs, brought to you by MTN Everywhere You Go. We're in the office of the Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development, Dr. Mustafa Hamid. Okay, you've heard of tramadol, haven't you?
Yes.
What are your initial comments about the destructive effect of the abuse going on in several communities across the country?
It is. And about a month ago, I was in Kumasi to pray at the Kumasi Central Mosques. And the discussion I had with the imams was about this substance abuse in our communities. And that Friday, I remember clearly the preacher, the regional chief imam preached at the mosque specifically about substance abuse and tramadol in particular. Why? Because I reasoned that it is the same, you know, the popular saying that the devil finds work for idle hands. Right. You know, when young people are idle, they have no occupation, they are not going to school, and etc., etc., then they are tempted to engage in these kinds of substance abuse. However, in relation to Muslim communities or Zongo communities in particular, the Quran is very definite about substance abuse. It says that wine drinking, intoxicants, and games of chance are an abomination, and now I'm quoting the Quran directly, are an abomination of Satan's handiwork. So eschew them so you may be successful.
Is that what you call haram?
It's haram.
Okay.
You are learning some Islam. So once it says eschew them so you may be successful, it becomes haram completely.
Right.
And so therefore, because already there is scripture backing it, my discussion with the ulama of course means the Muslim clergy, is that we can use the scripture as basis. Because look, especially Muslim communities, in Muslim communities, because we are trained, we are taken to Makaranta from childhood all the way, no matter how errant a Zongo boy or lady is, he would always say his 5 daily prayers.
Right.
Are you following me? And so I try to tell the ulama that we cannot, and there's another verse in the Quran that says that you should pray consistently, because prayer is something that will get you to eschew evil. So then I tell them, so how can you be praying and still be indulging in what we all consider as evil? Then it means that you are not really praying. Are you following me? Or in other words, the prayer has no effect on you. If you are praying and praying sincerely as a Muslim, you should be able, it should serve as a barrier between you and that which is forbidding or evil. Are you following me?
Yes.
And so I am excited about your tramadol campaign. And of course, we can have a discussion that allows the Inner City and Zongo Ministry to partner you know, for us to take this campaign deeper into. You've already done a lot of campaigns in inner cities. I've watched them and all that. But for us to design a program that would target the Zongo communities alone, so we can help you with the imams and so on, that will give you the scriptural basis for getting to the hearts of these Muslim youth, so that once we get them off the substance, my job also continues from there, because quite frankly, even if you get them off the substance, you have to find them something to do.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise they will go back into it. And that's where my empowerment programs perhaps will come in, to be able to support them to earn a decent living.
I wish you all the best, and I hope the excitement stays forever, and you find solutions to the challenges.
Thank you.
I've been talking to Dr. Mustafa Hamid, the Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development. Before we go, if you can just run by us your social media handles. I hear you are the newbie on social media now.
Yes. We are. My Twitter handle is Mustafa Hamid.
So at Mustafa Hamid. You're very new to Twitter.
Yes. At Mustafa Hamid.
Yes.
Okay. On Instagram.
HAMID.
Yes.
By the way, it's I. Yes.
My Instagram handle, is that what I want to call?
Yes.
That one is Dr_Hamid71.
Why 71?
Because I was born in 71.
Ah, okay. That gives us an idea of how old he is. Yeah.
Yes,
So Dr_Hamid71. And remember, the Hamid is HAMID. Okay, and Facebook is Mustafa Hamid. All right. Thank you so much for talking to us. The show was brought to you by MTN Everywhere You Go. Have a good night.
State of Affairs brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
The agenda is grace.
Grace is not a license to sin, but grace have a license to erase every sin.
The word is grace.
I live right because I don't take his grace light.
The apostle is the apostle of grace.
You are not accepted because you are gifted or you are talented. You are accepted because of a sacrifice that he accepted.
Get ready to encounter grace.
There is more grace that activates mercy than your mess.
The Radiant Place presents Grace Pulpit with Apostle Emmanuel Inkum, showing this and every Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and Wednesdays at 5:30 a.m. right here on GH1 TV.
GH1 TV, your best experience.
You have seen the drama, the love affairs, the betrayal, the racism, all packed into one powerful telenovela, Mara, the only one. If you think you've seen it all, just relax because the best is yet to come. Join us on our live studio discussion as we dissect the characters and issues surrounding them. You can be a part of the Mara chatroom discussion by answering questions to win amazing prizes from GH1 TV. Mara Chatroom, this and every Friday from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. only on GH1 TV.
Mara is proudly brought to you by My Dear Rice, Alba Spaghetti, UB Hair Relaxer, Indomie, Gino Tomato Paste, Onga, Lepron Capsules from Roxin Ghana Limited, Nido Fortigo, Your Love, Their Future, and High Lady Virgin Herbal Intimate Wash.
GH1 TV, your best experience.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
You don't cook.
You always
you
want
know
things
what?
to say about me. What is wrong with you?
You're so lazy. Get out.
I am not going
What do you do in this house? I am done with you. I am done.
Dear Tales, my husband is fighting me because he wants me to quit my well-paid job and be a housewife.
Dear Tales, I just found out my husband has been cheating on me for years now.
Tales. Anytime I want to be intimate with my wife, she complains of headache and tiredness.
Don't worry, with Tales, all your problems are over. We listen, we discuss, and we find everlasting solutions to all your relationship problems. And sometimes we actually recommend counseling. My name is Shirley Tibila, but you can call me Cookie, and I'm your host for Tales from the Powder Room. Join me every Wednesday, 9 p.m. only on GH1 TV.
GH1 TV, your best experience.
In life, we face many challenges and experience many joys. Sometimes we do not have the formula for it. But when we have a listening ear and a great encouraging conversation can help. And the Late Afternoon Show brings you exactly that.
Lawyer, can a man be raped?
Our law is clear when it comes to rape. Rape is in respect of female.
Okay.
Carnal knowledge of a female who is not less than 16 years.
When it comes to defilement, age is a determinant. If they are able to prove that at the time that you had sex, it was 16 years, then definitely it's not defilement.
It's a lifestyle show interspersed with real-life stories and real people, with exciting and insightful conversations about anything and absolutely everything.
A lot of, men prefer voluptuous women.
My waist is 24.
And your hips?
40.
Huh?
I've been waist training for the past 3 years.
And your hips are?
51.
What? From everyday social issues to trending matters in your world of entertainment, and with a team of young vocal people and some professionals, we're redefining real talk.
Going through people's phones, going through their mails, their text messages, and whatever.
It is not healthy.
It is not healthy, and it's not right.
It is.
It's only people who cheat that believes that everybody's phone should be locked.
Join us every Monday and Friday at 4 p.m. right here on GH1 TV. And remember, the secret to your success is in your daily routine.
What sound does the turkey make? Can we listen and see if we are close?
GH1 TV, your best experience. GH1 TV, your best experience.
Google hopes its digital assistant for mobile devices will soon replace secretaries around the world. At their annual developers conference, they showed what they claimed was the next generation. The first voice you hear is Google's new digital assistant.
Hi, I'd like to reserve a table for Wednesday the 7th.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
4 people when?
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
A cell phone making reservations for its user? It's just one example of how Google hopes artificial intelligence and machine learning could improve user experience. Tech companies are taking advantage of powerful new processors and self-adapting algorithms, plus new cellular networks. The result? Google says its assistant for the Android operating system will sound more realistic, have more interactive conversations, and carry out more actions for users, meaning using a cell phone could soon look like this.
Hey Google, book a table for 4.
Sounds good.
Hey Google, call my brother.
Hey Google, call my brother.
Text Carol.
Can you text Carol for me too?
Hey Google, who just texted me?
But Google's AI push extends beyond its mobile division. They say the technology will soon streamline their Gmail, photos, and other desktop applications.
It's engaging, it's educative, and most of all, sensual.
When it's slippery and still tight.
Oh my God.
It is good. Like you doing him and he's screaming your name.
Duvet Under the Sheets comes your way with everything you have to know about love, sex, and dating.
Love is meant to respond to a need.
When it comes to sex,
the man
is supposed to be in charge.
No, you want to change things to spice it up.
Tuck the little ones to bed and join in on the conversation and learn a thing or two to spice up your relationship.
Why do the men think that they have to do like 10 different styles in one sexual act?
The leg is around your neck, and they are pinning you to the ground, and you're saying Ajay. The Ajay is not orgasm or sexual pleasure. That Ajay is like you.
Have your mind on cloud 9.
Duvet Under the Sheets.
Duvet is proudly brought to you by Beautiful Beneath, Carnival Strawberry, and High Lady Virgin Herbal Intimate Wash.
GH1 TV, your best experience.
Ghana Police Watch, the factual and reliable weekly series that will bring you timely information on combating crime in Ghana.
Good morning, police emergency. How may I assist you?
These are the police officers who risk their lives daily in the line of duty.
The public, we need their support.
Don't miss the special reports and news updates from Ghana Police Service and stimulating discussions on policing in Ghana. Ghana Police Watch. Good evening and welcome. Ghana Police Watch.
GH1 TV, your best experience.
Love felt like never before. Betrayal felt like a stab in the back.
Wait, you slept with Mito? How could you do this to me?
Concha, please, let's talk about
I'm done talking, okay? It's over!
From the shores of Portugal to the tropical beaches of Angola, love brews between two unexpected individuals, bound by love and pressured by race.
I know that black women can be sexy, but if you want to have fun with women like that, there's a lot of them in Lisbon who are not jumping from one man to another like monkeys swinging from banana trees.
You can't let those white people insult you like that.
I met a Portuguese man, yes, but I didn't do anything.
You will walk out that door and never come back.
Does their love stand the test of time? Mara, the only one. Characters from different walks of life, merged in one award-winning telenovela. Mara shows every weekday at 7 p.m. and repeated 10 a.m. every week, with a mega omnibus on Sundays at 10 a.m. All on GH1 TV, your best experience.
Mara is proudly brought to you by My Dear Rice, Alba Spaghetti, UB Hair Relaxer, Indomie, Gino Tomato Paste, Onga, Lepron Capsules from Roxin Ghana Limited, Nido Fortigo, Your Love, Their Future, and High Lady Virgin Herbal Intimate Wash.
GH1 TV, your best experience. GH1 TV, your best experience.